diving into something that has completely transformed the way I really work with teams effectively, and understanding the difference between what we call a maker and manager work. If you're like most middle managers, you've probably experienced the frustration of juggling back-to-back meetings while trying to get any meaningful work. We've all been there. Well, that's not what today's episode is about. I'm going to break down the difference between the two types of work, and more importantly, how you can use this knowledge to optimize your time, boost productivity, and avoid burnout. So let's get into the basics. What is maker work? Well, think about the times when you need long, interrupted blocks of time. Whether you're working on a presentation, writing a report, or doing some strategic planning, those moments, or when you're in the zone, that's what we call maker work. It's all about deep focus and high impact tasks. On the other hand, manager work is the exact opposite. It's the meetings, the coordination, the constant communication with your team. Now, as a middle manager, you're probably spending a big chunk of your day in manager mode, jumping from one meeting to another. But here's the thing. Both of these work styles require different types of energy, different schedules, and most importantly, different strategies to manage. Now, before we go further, I do want to give a shout out to Paul Graham, who wrote about this idea 14 years ago in his essay called Maker Schedule, Manager Schedule. It really has opened my eyes and helped me to reframe the fact that the key to getting the most out of your day is recognizing which role you're in at any given time. And this is the unlock we're going to talk about today. So let's take maker's mode first. Let's talk maker's mode first. If you're in maker mode, you need to protect the time like your life depends on it. For example, block out specific hours on your calendar for deep work and label it something such as focus time or project work. I like to block couple hours, 3-4 hours if there's some major deadlines to ensure that I have no meetings or distraction. And I make sure my team knows this. I make sure my manager knows this because it's sacred time for me to get important work done. And for all my fellow managers out there, I know you might be thinking, Paul, I can't block out time like that. I have too many meetings. And I hear you. I'm with you. But this is where batching your meetings comes in. Grouping similar meetings all together, having all the times for your one-on-ones on the same day or in the same block. This way, you're in manager mode during that block of time, and you can still have your maker time later or reprioritize. The real magic happens when you can balance both effectively. We all know that switching from one mode to another, like from deep work to random meeting, can totally throw off your momentum. So one of my tips is to give yourself a 5-minute buffer between meetings and focus time, using that time to reset, wrap up urgent tasks, and get ready for your next block of work. That 5-minute rule has saved countless, including myself, by being constantly pulled in different distractions. Here's a quick recap of everything, and I really want this to resonate with you. Makers need long, interrupted blocks of time to do their best. Managers thrive on coordination and meetings, but if you don't batch those meetings, it can drain your time and energy. Recognizing which role you're in helps you manage your energy better and really avoid that major burnout. So, the biggest takeaway I know I take, and many people take away who really have been introduced to this concept, is you want to customize your schedule based on the role for that day. Again, you're in maker mode, protect the time. You're in manager mode, batch those meetings and keep them contained. And I want to challenge you to take a moment out of this episode and look at your calendar. Ask yourself, am I optimizing my time for the work that I need to do? If you're constantly jumping between meetings and deep work, it's time to make a change. Try out one of these strategies, and I guarantee you'll feel the difference in your productivity and energy.
Thank you for listening to the Persistence Mastery Podcast. Subscribe to where you listen to podcasts. And if you want to hire Paul to train or speak for your team, visit persistencemastery.com and fill out the request training form.